My best friend helped me heal after my breakup. Turns out she was sleeping with him the whole time. I didn't think I was blind. I just thought I was loyal. We were together 5 years, lived together for two, talked about kids, a house, matching retirement plans. He wasn't perfect. Nobody is. But I thought we were working through things. Communication was always his weak spot. I told myself that was normal. The fight started slow. Dumb things. Dirty dishes, late texts, forgetting plans. But they got louder, colder. He started pulling back, emotionally, physically. Said he was tired, said he was stressed. I believed him because I didn't want to admit I felt it too. The shift, the distance, the way he'd look at me like I was background noise. Then came the breakup. He didn't even do it face to face. Just sat on the edge of our bed one morning, mumbled something about not feeling connected anymore, and left. Took a gym bag and vanished. No explanation, no conversation, just gone. I sat on the floor for an hour after he left, staring at the closet he didn't even bother to clear out. She was the first person I called, my best friend since college. The kind of person who always picked up, who showed up with wine and takeout and mean jokes about the men who hurt me, who knew every version of me, including the broken ones. She was furious on my behalf, said he was trash, said I deserved better. She cried with me, stayed over that first week, slept next to me in bed when I couldn't stop shaking. Took my phone and blocked him so I wouldn't keep checking if he'd texted. Told me to delete the photos, told me I was strong. I believed her. She was the one who said, "He's probably already moved on." I remember it clearly. I was still crying, and she said it like a slap, but I needed it. It woke me up. She helped me get back on my feet, made me go outside, pushed me to sign up for therapy, talked me out of texting him more than once, brought me coffee when I couldn't get out of bed. Looking back now, she never said anything that wasn't rehearsed. Always the right thing at the right moment. Always one step ahead of my emotions, like she already knew what I'd say. At the time, I called it empathy. Now I know better. I didn't think about him much after the third month. He came up. You don't forget 5 years overnight. But I stopped waiting for him to apologize. I moved apartments, got a new job. I started to feel like me again. Then I upgraded my phone. The iCloud prompt came up. I tapped yes without thinking. I hadn't backed up the old one in over a year, so it took time. When it finished, a bunch of junk apps and forgotten photos flooded in. I scrolled aimlessly. That's when I saw it. A shared album. I didn't remember creating one. It was called just X no thumbnail. No cover image. I opened it. 42 photos. It took me a few seconds to understand what I was looking at. The first image was a mirror selfie. Not of me, not of him, of her. In my old bathroom. Hair wet, towel on. A faint shadow behind her. The curve of a man's arm, his. Another, a text screenshot. Dirty, stupid. The kind of messages people send when they think no one will ever see them. Time-stamped at 2:03 a.m., dated 3 weeks before he broke up with me. Another, a picture of my bed, with her in it. I kept scrolling, photos of my kitchen, my sofa, her shoes by the door, her hand holding his, her laughing at something off-screen, him standing behind her in my robe, her underwear on my dresser. Every image was time-stamped, all of them from the final 2 months of my relationship. They had been sleeping together before he left, in my home, while I was out working, at work, at the gym, visiting my parents. While I cried about us drifting apart, they were documenting their affair like a scrapbook. She had comforted me through a breakup she helped cause. She sat on my floor and watched me sob about a man she was actively fucking. She handed me tissues with one hand while deleting texts with the other. She told me I was better off. Not because it was true, but because she already had what she wanted. And I never saw it coming. That night, I didn't sleep. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't even text her. I just sat there, staring at the glow of my screen and felt everything inside me start to calcify. I wasn't hurt. Not anymore. I was cold. And I was done being the one people felt safe betraying. I didn't tell anyone what I found. No angry texts, no confrontations, no vague social media posts. I didn't even mention it in therapy. I knew if I opened my mouth too soon, I'd let them control the story again. and I wasn't giving either of them that power back. Instead, I watched. I re-downloaded our old group chat and went quiet. I didn't mute them. I didn't block. I let every message come through, like noise in the background of a room I didn't live in anymore. He'd gone silent since the breakup, but she hadn't. She was still messaging like we were best friends, bragging about meal prepping, sharing gym selfies, sending TikToks. I'd stopped replying weeks ago. The usual excuses. Sorry, work's been insane. Forgot to hit send. Need a social detox. She bought it. Of course she did. She thought she'd won. The thing about people like her is they think being cruel in silence makes them smart. That if they don't admit it out loud, they're technically innocent. They lean on technicalities like cowards. She was probably telling herself I'd moved on, that I didn't know, that maybe it was better this way, that maybe she deserved him. He was more careful, nothing obvious online. But I still had access to an old login of his. One I used to help him apply for jobs. He never changed the password. He forgot I even had it. So I watched his location history. I watched his Spotify queue. I watched him connect to a smart TV on Saturday nights in a building I recognized. Her building. I even saw their shared grocery list sync in the app we used to use. My name was still on it. I didn't delete it. I added one item. Lie better. Then I logged out. It wasn't about catching them anymore. I already had everything I needed. Screenshots, timestamps, even a live location sync between their phones. I didn't need proof. I needed a way to make sure they'd never forget what they did, like not by screaming, not by exposing them, but by turning their game on them. So I waited. Let them relax. Let them think it passed. 3 weeks later, she posted a photo, a brunch spread. His hand in the background, barely visible. I didn't even blink, just saved it. Just like I saved the text she sent me 2 days later. Let's plan a girls' trip this summer. You deserve something fun. That's when I started planning something too. Not loud, not messy, not emotional, just precise. I remembered something he once said during a fight about how she was too clingy, not his type, how he'd never date someone like her seriously. It was a throwaway insult, said months before they ever got involved. I'd brushed it off then. Now I remembered every word for word. So I made a copy of it, from a voice memo he sent when venting to me. I trimmed the audio, subtitled it, and saved it in an unlisted YouTube link. Then I printed the transcript on the back of a brunch photo, the same photo she posted, with his hand in the frame. And I mailed it to her anonymously. No return address, no message. Just the quote, "She's not my type. She's just easy." And her own handwriting right there on the brunch receipt, naming the restaurant and date. 2 days later, her Instagram went private. 4 days later, their Spotify activity disappeared. 5 days later, the smart TV login was wiped. I wasn't watching anymore, they were. I didn't need to speak. They started whispering on their own. And I wasn't done yet. I didn't post about it. Didn't cry in a bathroom mirror. Didn't write some long caption about healing or karma or finding peace. I didn't need closure. I didn't want forgiveness. I just wanted to make sure they could never tell the story their way again. So I made it impossible for them to lie. I had the full archive by then. A folder of screenshots, photos, messages, location data, receipts, all organized by date, all cross-referenced, all clean. I had everything from the first selfie they took in my kitchen to the last message she sent me pretending to care about my mental health. But I wasn't going to post it. I didn't want revenge to look like drama. I wanted it to feel like erasure. So I sent a Dropbox link to just 5 people. Quietly. Privately. Without a word. Her older sister and the one she always said judged her. His boss, the one who invited me to dinner with their team last year. His ex, the one he swore was crazy. Her ex, the one she said was toxic. And her mother. No caption, no warning, just the link. Inside, nothing violent, just the truth. Laid out cleanly. Dates, texts, screenshots of my bed, his comments about her. Her lies to my face, my silence. I didn't ask them to pick sides. I just made sure they couldn't pretend not to know anymore. And then I left. I changed cities, jobs, cut ties with every mutual friend, removed myself from every photo, every group chat, every plan. No announcements, no blocking, just disappearance. But I didn't just disappear, I left the door open behind me. See, they didn't know how much of their relationship existed in my shadow. Every cute couple photo they'd post, a mutual friend would quietly wonder if I'd seen it. Every invite they'd get, someone would hesitate, remembering what happened. Every time they told the story of how they got together, they'd have to skip over the timeline. Lie again, smile through it. And the people I sent the file to, they didn't respond. Not directly. But I noticed her sister unfollowed her. His boss quietly removed him from a leadership role. A friend of a friend texted me weeks later and said, "So, everything they said was a lie?" I didn't answer. They already knew. I ran into her once after all of it. Random grocery store, different city, months later. She froze, tried to smile. I didn't break stride, didn't even make eye contact. Just walked past her like she was a stranger. Because she is. And that's what burned the most. Not the exposure, not the loss of control, just the realization that I could move on. Fully. Quietly. Without her, without him. Without any of it. I left the pieces scattered behind me, and I never looked back. The worst part, I imagine, isn't even guilt. It's the silence, the knowing, the fact that every time they try to move forward, they'll wonder who knows. Wonder who saw. Wonder when the next person will bring it up. Wonder if people are smiling to their faces and laughing behind their backs. They wanted a love story. I left them with a secret they'll choke on forever. I'm not bitter, I'm not angry, I'm just clean. She can keep pretending she was a good friend. He can keep pretending he didn't ruin anything. And I'll keep waking up every day knowing neither of them has access to the new version of me. They don't know my job. They don't know my address. They don't know my number. They don't even know who I am anymore. But I do. And that's the part they'll never be able to fake.